Okay. Hold on. View your channel live. Okay, I have it on the big screen. I mean, not the big screen, on the big voice. Alrighty, Spidey. Alright, we're ready. So I'll count down from 5, 4, and when I get to 1, I'm going to go to you. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Winnebago Talks. DJ Guaranteed here. And we are doing a special live remote here at WinnaVegas Casino due to the fact that today, 33 years ago, WinnaVegas opened its door, April 30th, and I want to say it's 1992, if my math is correct. We're going to be joined here in a live remote. We're going to have DJ Bessamy. We're also going to have MC BKC, the Win editor, and we're going to have some special guests talking today on this very, very special, monumentous occasion for everybody here at Winnebago Talks and on the Big Voice. So what it means for the Winnebago tribe to celebrate 33 years. As you can see here, it's a beautiful, beautiful designed building. We have over here, they have patrons, we have the table games pit, we have the newest slots, the marketing team, they did a wonderful job. As you can see, they have some eateries, amenities, Flowers Island Buffet. I know they open on Fridays. We also have, we're going to show you kind of some of the main events and maybe do a taste test of the Kansu Cafe, which has some awesome events here. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have an opportunity, you're going to hear some stories. You're going to be able to relive some of those moments back when Winnevegas was in the trailers. Now, I have to say, I'm kind of dating myself, but I was 11 years old when that took place, and it was such a, I hear stories about it. And now in the climate, far as 33 years of entertainment, there's a lot of jackpot winners, bingo, and even our crew, Kevin, Bethany, Brian, they worked for Winnevegas, and we'll hear some of those stories here today. So join us for the next 60 minutes as we're going to share some of those, and we're going to kick it on over to DJ Bessamy, MC BKC, who are live in the 360 Lounge. DJ Bessamy, are you there?
Hello, everybody.
Yes, good morning, Guaranteed. Thank you for that introduction. I'm MC BKC, Brian Chamberlain, editor for the Winnebago Indian News. And we are live here at the 360 Lounge at WinnaVegas Casino Resort. It's a good morning. They have a decent crowd out here. You can hear the machines hitting. There was a lady that was had a nice little bonus right before we began the broadcast, so congratulations to her. But at the same time, of course, WinnaVegas celebrating 33 years of business, April 30th, 1992, and now here we are all these years later. Fast forward in time, it's kind of hard to believe because 33 years ago, this was, I don't even know if it was a parking lot where we're sitting.
My goodness.
It might have just been part of the field. But so many different changes, so many different things coming about over time.
And I also have some really awesome pictures that was provided over by you that we could run through a little bit.
Sure, yeah, let's show them.
I'm going to turn a little bit so you'll be able to kind of see what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I have a good view.
And so
a little bit, yep, okay.
We will go into memory lane.
Yeah, what we're talking about here also, in the most recent issue of the Winnebago Indian News, we have our third storyteller, and the storyteller section is usually on Hakewe or Shigoe, and so that's page 6 and 7. And our third storyteller is one of the original employees, Miss Kelly Snow. Kelly started in the table games department, in the blackjack pits, on the craps tables, etc. Way back in the day, of course, in the trailers, she was in the building the day they cut the ribbon and opened the doors for the very first time. And so she shares a lot of those stories with us in part 1 in the most recent issue of the Winnebago Indian News. And so I believe you have it coming up right there, an image of the trailers.
Yes, yep.
Yes, and so this was actually after we had moved out of them. It's kind of hard to find any live action trailer photos.
I've
I
seen
mean,
that.
individuals might have them, and if you guys have them, post them online. People want to see, what was it like back then? Because, of course, going back to 1992, there was no digital media. So we're talking about, what were they, 110 cameras or the actual 35 millimeter if somebody actually
Got
had one in that kind of thing. So these are hard copy photographs that have been digitized over time. And so we're happy to share them in any way that we can because they do show a very real and historical perspective over what the Winnebago tribe has experienced and the Winnebago people, as well as the Siouxland community as WinnaVegas has continued to grow over these 33 years. So I'm really happy that we have any photographs at all.
Yeah, you think about the economic development that
Yes, indeed.
WinnaVegas has created, the job opportunities, and just some of the memories,
Oh,
that we were kind
absolutely.
of
Yeah,
talking. And I know that we're having a little issue of bringing up some of the pictures and stuff, but
I appreciate
let's
that.
go back. And you did
Sure.
a storyteller section with
Yes.
Keats.
Yep.
And kind of recap that a little bit and maybe give us some highlights of what was said during
Yeah.
that storyteller
Like
section.
I said, the storyteller section is where we take tribal members and people in the community that want and have a story to tell. Of course, Kelly Snow is our third storyteller. The first one was Ruby Ballinger. The second one was Gordon Rave, the commander of the Winnebago Veterans Association. And so Kelly, in tandem with the 33th anniversary, came forward and she was very gracious to share a lot of the stories that she had being an original employee, and then as well as so many other things that she experienced because she was here. She was one of those people that was here, as well as many others, some who are moved on, some who, have passed on as well, and then only a small handful of individuals that join her as original employees out here. So
Nice, nice. That is awesome. I know Kevin is kind of going to roam around here and maybe get us some spectacular shots, but this is
yes.
where we're at right now. For those that never been to WinnaVegas, we are what they call the 360 stage, and at times they have entertainment. I remember when it first opened up because this used to be the old bingo hall.
Yeah, this was kind of where the numbers were being called, the
Yep.
callers sat, all that. Yep. So
And then they transformed it, and you could see like the influence of like ribbon work. I mean, it's beautiful. How whoever designed this, I don't know the architect. Maybe you was on the council when that took place and stuff. But wow, it is. They got the nice, beautiful floral designs. You see at the 360, kind of right in the middle. There's some shells. I mean, wow, it is. It is really cool. And it gives
Yes.
you kind of that real nice homey vibe. Also, just the comfortable, the lighting, all that. It comes down to a science. Now, I never
sure.
worked in the casino industry. I would maybe consider myself a semi broke gambler. But
Aren't we all?
one of the things I do like to play some slots, and then also at times they at one time had poker.
Yes,
And
they still do.
I was a tournament player. I didn't really care for the live poker and stuff, but what happened is I know that they brought it back. During the pandemic, a lot of weird things happened.
Oh, yeah.
And they found a solution to keep going. And with the Winnebago tribe, the pandemic task force, and the GM, Tom Teasdale, everybody had a hand in making sure that this place is kind of on the other side of that pandemic, and it's slowly but surely climbing up.
Oh, yeah.
There are some things that we wanted to discuss far as here in the area. You think about Iowa, Nebraska, there's a lot of competition.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And these guys are navigating ways to kind of set themselves apart. So take us back, Brian. WinnaVegas didn't start as a casino.
No, actually, Winnebago was a full-scale bingo operation, high-stakes bingo that started, I want to say, in the mid-1980s. I don't know the exact year because, like you, at that point, I was still a kid. And so I don't remember the exact date that Winnebago opened, but high-stakes bingo were the early days of Indian gaming across the nation. And, of course, that's what led to the passage of the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, an act of Congress in 1988, signed by then President Reagan, and made kind of the pathway set forward for all
You said
Indian tribes.
1998?
1988.
1988.
Yes,
Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
He was president. Okay,
yes,
okay, I
the
got you.
Indian-
Maybe Kevin, if you can, make your way to the bingo hall if that's possible. I'm not sure if you'll lose signal and stuff, but we got Kevin in our monitors here, and so we're going to try to get you a shot of what it looks like now.
Yeah, very big transformation all throughout. But again, bingo was really where we started in the high stakes field with that, because if I remember right, they had the opportunity to win like $1,000 games. Excuse me, 11.99 games. That's kind of where that phrase came from, because of course the $1,200 threshold for
Yeah.
the IRS documentation, etc. But high stakes bingo is what WinnaBingo was really about. And to that point, I know we have some people in the audience that you're going to have guests with. They were workers at WinnaBingo.
Wow.
So they would give you live perspectives on that. But to that point, that's what really started everything. And then, of course, as time went forward, WinnaBingo was closed through a series of, there were some lawsuits, there were some legal wranglings, et cetera, and whatever else. And then the tribe decided, again, and I always like to point this out because most tribal members don't think of it this way, in a split vote of the tribal council to get involved in what was coming as the wave of Indian gaming. And we opened our doors in 1992.
Very nice. So we're here discussing, for those that are just tuning in, WinnaVegas' 33rd anniversary, 33 years in the gaming industry. And we appreciate the marketing. They welcome us with open arms. They helped out with us setting up here on the 360 stage. Where Kevin's coming up here, if we can get a shot of Kevin, I'm not sure if, but we have some special events that take place back there, including one that happened just in February. That's the last Bear Moon Winter Celebration. Wonderful celebration that took place. If you have an opportunity, make sure.
event.
Yeah, it broke some records and everything. But this is the area of the bingo, and yeah, we might have to kind of fire our camera operator. No, he's doing an excellent job actually. But
Flip, press, and spin. No.
I want to say that. He has the opportunity in that area. Is it class 2, those machines?
Yes, it is. Yes,
So
it
let's
is.
talk about that a little bit. I did a little research, and I
Okay.
asked you one time, just having a conversation,
Yeah.
class 1 is traditional native games, like
Yes.
hand game,
Yep,
moccasin
Kansu,
game.
Yep.
Class 2 is a little bit different, and then what we are in is a class 3 facility. So
Yes. in my glasses. It's crazy. Oh, it's asking for more. Oh, jeez.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, it is.
We're back on the air.
It is back on.
The joys of technology.
Yes.
We're writing a letter to Microsoft and telling them don't kick off the updates while we're live in front of 190,000 people on terrestrial.
Yes.
But I think we're back on. Let us know if you guys can hear us. We're live at WinnaVegas 33rd anniversary.
Yeah, it's because it's
Okay.
reading the text, so
Good work, man. Good work here. We're gonna have to, you know, there's back at the office. There's kind of like an inside thing there. Back at the office, we have some friends that join us, and every now and then they mess with our electronics. If you know what I'm saying, all the native people know what I'm saying on that one and stuff. So we might have to kind of offer up something for them. But nonetheless, I know it's becoming around that time of noon here. We are live on KWTN 100.9 FM. Joining us here, DJ Guarantee, DJ Best to me. She's producing here, so she'll be doing some talking. And then MCBKC, former WinnaVegas employee.
yes.
And you started out in the dealer. We were talking about, before we went off air, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3.
Right.
And I believe we were left off at Class 2.
Yes.
And in that bingo area, let's not have Kevin go too far here because he was kind of in. Oh, okay. But yes, let's talk about Class 2.
Yeah, so again, around the country, many tribes were involved in high stakes bingo. The California tribes, the Florida tribes, that's really where kind of the legal precedent was forced forward. We're pushing literally $100,000 games, $100,000 sessions. And, they have the population centers. And of course, they were pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And the states wanted to be involved. The tribes said, no, back off. So the federal government, of course, got involved, created a remedy and a true compromise, because it can be said about the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, well, everybody did not get what they wanted. Everybody got something. So the states got something, the tribes definitely got something, and even the federal government got something in that. And so it was a compromise that came forward, signed into law by then President Reagan, of course, passed by the Congress in 1988, and everything came forward from that. So Class 2 is primarily the game of bingo. Now, we all know the classic game of bingo where you're daubing, you have the paper games, etc., and that kind of stuff. And WinnaVegas still operates that to this day. Now, we didn't have bingo in the very, very beginning simply because there was no space to do it, and the Winnebago tribe was involved in some other things, not able to use the building right away, and etc. Plus, it needed much, much renovation. And like I said, you can talk to the actual employees. They'll tell you stories of how it was back then. But then when it became possible, I want to say it was probably in 1995, they added on the section that we're currently in, because like you said at the top of the show, this was the bingo hall, and bingo then once again returned to WinnaVegas and the Winnebago tribe. Class 2 bingo is what it's all about, and then Class 3 gaming is pretty much everything beyond that. Slot machines, table games, at the time they called it Vegas style gaming, so everything that you'd see in Las Vegas or New Jersey, and of course now it has went all across the country. I think almost you can find gambling in some sort in all 50 states, but at the same time some more than others, and so that is kind of the modern style casino of Class 3.
I just kind of have a question here. I like that one is called Vegas Vacation there, where they
Oh, yeah.
do they have those games, you know what I mean? Like where it's like you guess the left or right hand, or
Yes.
what was it, War? It was one of
Sure.
them, and
Yeah.
you could place, well, nowadays with sports betting you can place anything.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe we can get an update on that too. Currently one of Vegas doesn't off sports betting.
Not
I know
that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah, so that might be something in the works and stuff, but we'll talk to our next guest here, MCBKC. Appreciate the insight.
Sure.
Thank you for coming on out. And 30 years of WinnaVegas is amazing. Throughout the times there, what happens is the formula of this is a lot of the corporations of casinos, they shareholders, you got to report to that.
Sure.
So
Yes.
in kind of a way, what happens is that the Winnebago tribe, anything that WinnaVegas makes WinnaVegas sends over to the tribe, and
Absolutely.
it helps
Yes.
build their programs. And you're talking about like human services, even communications. Us, we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for WinnaVegas and the Winnebago
Absolutely.
Tribal Council.
Yes, and that's a very good point because everything that the Winnebago tribe has been involved with since opening the doors in 1992 has come from the benefit and the revenues that are created by WinneVegas Casino. And I mean everything. The 12 Clans Unity Hospital has benefits because WinneVegas was able to provide legal support and the knowledge base that continued within the tribal membership at that time. HCI is started directly off of revenues from WinneVegas, so everything that has become wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this operation. And so a lot of people kind of forget about those things, and it's always good to remember and say those things back out because we have to remember where we come from, and WinneVegas continues to provide that kind of support back to the Winnebago tribe and the Winnebago people.
Last question I want to ask you, and then
Yeah.
if you can help us out,
Sure.
go grab our first guest here. But you're kind of behind the scenes, and that's what we wanted to make mention and
Yes.
stuff. You mentioned Memorial Day weekend. Tell
Okay.
us a little bit about that. You remember that story?
Memorial Day.
Or was it Memorial Day or something? But you guys cleared so much money. It was
Oh,
crazy. Like,
yes.
you guys needed a ticket to get in, and I'm not sure when that happened and stuff, but tell us that story.
Yeah, actually, it was one of the New Year's Eves, and I want to say it's when it became 1995. And so, of course, the casino data systems that they had back then weren't what they were today, but you could still have a tracking on, how much money was flowing through the machines, etc. The Winnebago tribe hit the seven-figure mark well before midnight, and it was still trucking forward and that type of thing. So Winnevegas has definitely had, its heydays and that kind of thing. And like you said, COVID and other issues. There's been a couple floods that ironically have come back, and impacted business. But all throughout that, because you remember the Ducks in 2011 and all that kind of stuff, Winnevegas continues to persevere and continues to move forward. And 33 years of business uninterrupted, except for the flood. That's
7 figures in one night.
yeah. Oh, before that, before
Wow.
midnight. Yes, we didn't even hit. The
Was it
countdown.
packed? I mean, like,
Yes, beyond, absolutely beyond. I mean, you couldn't get. There was no seats on the tables. The machines were absolutely packed, and it was. I mean, and it was good. It
Yeah.
was good to see.
awesome. Well, thank you, MCBKC, Brian, our win editor, for being here. 33rd anniversary, I should say. I'm gonna turn my attention over here to DJ Besame's in the house, and we had a little interruption.
Yeah.
And Brian is going to grab our next guest, but we had a little interruption. Maybe tell the good folks about what was it? Just an update.
Yeah, so like we were just kind of mid conversation, listening to the good, reminiscence of Winnevegas, and the screen just went black, and I just like tapped Garen's shoulder. I think we're back.
All right, Tom, go ahead and put on your headset there, and we'd like to welcome in. I think we're back online, and We got couple glitches happening. I'm not sure if it's electricity or maybe whatnot and stuff, but we're so electric that that's how we roll. No, I'm just playing. But I'd like to welcome in our special guest here and the man of the WinnaVegas Casino, the one and only general manager, Tom Teasdale. Man, congratulations, 33. I know you guys, your associates, customers, everybody is really amped up. 33 years is amazing. Congratulations, and say hello to the good folks out there.
Thank you so much, and I think the congratulations.
Let me check your mic here, Tom. I just want to double check. There we go. Take two.
Thank you very much. The congratulations is really to the Winnebago tribe and to all of the Winnebago tribal members that have worked for us for so many years. You know, we have folks that we continue to recognize each month in our service awards that have served the tribe here for 32 years, 33 years. You know, it's just been an amazing history, and we were the first. And when it comes to service, we're still the best in Siouxland, and certainly the biggest. Saturday night for the anniversary celebration, we had 1,000 people in the showroom. We had 200 people for dinner in the Flowers Island restaurant.
Yeah.
We gave away a Jeep Compass along with our partners at Woodhouse, Sioux City.
Yeah.
And it was just an exciting way to conclude what really has been a month-long celebration. And as you know, we love to celebrate here at WinnaVegas, and we're looking forward to continuing, you know, and we have our new, certainly folks in the gaming family with Warhorse Casinos, and it's great to see how well those properties are doing, and it's me, from my perspective personally, I think that it's going to be a new era of prosperity for the Winnebago Nation once those properties are fully built out.
For sure, for sure. Tom, I wanted to make mention that we went over to the cash area, did some change. Now, on there's a section that says, do you want to donate your change to a Winnebago organization? Amazing. And then off to the side, it says, would you like to donate to the Winnebago Veterans Fund? That is amazing, because a lot of the corporations and stuff, you don't know where that money goes, but it directly translates on over to the Winnebago tribe. That's, you know, really appreciate that. I know you guys do like a big check that you donate to the Boys and Girls Club. I believe the Winnebago Foundation. There's a lot of people, a lot of entities, and it's just change, you know, and it adds up. So we want to say thank you to the customers of WinnaVegas.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's, you know, I have a passion for helping the tribe in any way that I can. I've had the privilege to serve the tribe since 2023 here, and we were blessed. Councilwoman Rona Steeler made a recommendation in the last council meeting to advance the donation to the Winnebago veterans so that they could prepare for our homecoming celebration in July.
Yes.
So last council meeting, we presented a check to Commander Rave for $15,000 from the Roundup program, which will directly benefit the work that our veterans are doing at our powwow grounds.
Wow. And well deserved for the veterans, you know.
Absolutely.
They
We
deserve
can't
it.
do enough for them.
Yes, for sure. You actually just came back, and I seen you enter the 360 here, but you were helping out with tomorrow's groundbreaking.
Yes, I'm really excited.
No, excuse me, it's the grand opening.
Right, the grand opening on Friday, the Louis LaRose building at Little Priest Tribal College, and partnered with the team at the college to design and produce the shirts that everybody that serves the tribe at the college will be wearing on Friday for this momentous occasion.
Wow, that is cool. Another thing I wanted to kind of make mention, WinnaVegas went through a lot of adversity, including last June. You
Yes.
guys went through a flood, and I remember, I just wanted to share the story with the viewers and stuff, is that you stayed, and they evacuated the property. The flood was going to come. You stayed at the property the whole time, like almost like a captain on the ship,
That's right.
making sure everybody was safe. And for those, you were giving us reports, communications, the tribal council at like 5 a.m. And there was like, it was amazing. It was a unity. Unfortunately, it happened. You know, I know it was loss of business and things like that, but man, the way that physical resources came over there with their equipment, try to build a berm so that water doesn't come up to the casino. And I remember Ron Knorr, the engineer.
Yes.
He surveyed the area, and they were trying to build something up there, and it was going to back flood up here. And he called the county and said, you guys need to get that down. And they actually shut the road down. There was officials there, and I remember Councilman, Vice Chairman Smith was trying to get through with some of that equipment to
That's
help.
right.
It couldn't get through, man. But that's something that I always remember, just recently as last year, and we could tell that everybody came together. You yourself made sure to feed the crew. Just something like that was amazing. So thank you for all that work on that one.
Oh, you're welcome. And, it was such a blessing that day, as we're continuing to monitor the water levels. And Ron Knorr was here, of course, around the clock. He served the tribe for so many years. And I understand he's recently signed on to continue for another 3 years, which, from my perspective, is a really good thing. And then when Vice Chairman Smith showed up with everybody from Physical Resources, I felt like the cavalry had arrived
Yeah.
to help us.
It was pretty bad. I actually kind of got scared at the entrance area because they were like, no, it's 8 foot. I was like, oh my goodness, man, Vegas is going to flood, all this and that, but it wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad far as the officials were saying. Yes, there's the road. That's
the footage that you did.
Yes, on the drone. But this was kind of like the aftermath, and that was the day. I want to say that you announced that, hey, patrons can come back.
Right, 4 p.m. we opened with support from the Winnebago Tribe, Physical Resources, Woodbury County. In partnership, we got the road cleaned and reopened by 4 p.m. so that our guests could return to the property. And of course, we could continue to achieve revenue for the tribe.
Yes, and you see that little circle down there. There's some diesel pumps that everybody was trying to save. That's where Physical Resources, there was a concern if that diesel, whatever and stuff. But, oh, man, you guys did a wonderful job, all the associates, and then you, Tom, as well. Coordination, I know emergency management. They actually got denied access to that. But through the history, WinnaVegas, this is not their first flood.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
And, there's, like you said, there comes some cavalry. They brought, best of me, I think some of your crew, some of your, from the roads department, you got a brother that works over there, huh?
Shout out to Hoggy and Bonson. Both my brothers work out there.
Yeah, and they were just cleaning that up and some of the debris, and it was like, wow. It turned into a lake right out front of WinnaVegas. I was like, there's no way it's going to flood,
Yeah.
But all of a sudden,
Whoa.
your action went into plan.
Thank you.
I think that van went blazing by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting, folks. So
Yeah.
if you have an opportunity, WinnaVegas 2 is going to be here. It's a entity for the community, the Siouxland area. Not only do you help out the Winnebago tribe, but there's donations that you guys gave always around Christmas time. I think there was a program that came in, Michael something, but he would donate bikes and stuff for the kids, and that was wonderful to see. So, Tom, what's in the store in the future?
Well, we're going to continue to look to create great experience for our guests. That's what's first and foremost. We've spent a lot of time on guest service training for all of our associates because as the market continues to contract, being clean, being safe, being secure, providing great service is how we're going to win. And that's our focus.
Nice. I like that philosophy.
Thank you.
So, join us if you are able to for the homecoming celebration, sponsored by WinnaVegas.
And we're really looking forward to it, 159th.
Nice. The GM, Tom Teasdale, man, thank you, man.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Wrong mic. Like, thanks, Tom.
You got a couple of headsets on here. The joys of being a producer, right?
Yes.
Yep. So I didn't have an opportunity, and then Tom, we'll go ahead and get the next guest. If you have an associate that wants to come up here and share a few things with us, that'd be great. We have some And I believe we are back in the house. 33rd anniversary. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. I don't know what is going on with the thing, but nonetheless, I'd like to welcome in and go ahead and flip your microphone. DJ Best, tell me what you got for him.
Well, we have our Kevin Ebert over there giving us a nice virtual tour. And so he was looking at some of those slots out there. I believe he's out on the gaming floor. And so lots of alarms going off that I've heard.
Yeah, what do they call those alarms? Just kind of,
Bonuses?
yeah, bonuses. We have. Go and give us your introduction.
Um, I'm Sharon Redhorn. I work with the Winnebago Gaming Development Corporation, and I'm a former employee of WinnaVegas.
Tell us about that. What did you do?
I was the assistant manager to the restaurant and bar, and then interim manager at several times. And it was just in the days of when we had the crab lakes.
Oh, man. Tell you what. Tell us about that. Crab Lakes, did it happen every night or what was it?
No, it was on Friday, Saturday nights. It was all you can eat, and it was just a madhouse here. And,
Wow.
It was so awesome. Just people would be coming and just be on the waiting list for anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours, and they waited.
Wow. That is crazy. I wonder how that I wonder who had the idea to do that. You know, was that something from Las Vegas that kind of
I don't know. I guess I never asked. At the time, I had Chandra Hendrickson. She was one of the cooks, and Carrie Steele, and he was the executive chef. And it was just, we just did it, and I don't know. It was just happening when I came, and it just continued to happen after I left.
what other memories do you have here of Winnevegas?
Um, I guess just the crowds, the people that used to come in, you get to know them. You know, people would come over every night for dinner from Sloan area or just the whole surrounding area. And we would just have so many people that would come in and just be enjoying the different menus that we had. The buffet, especially. We had people coming in on buses from Omaha and Council Bluffs and the surrounding areas, and that was always a plus. They would come in during the days, and we would offer buy one buffet, get the second half price, and that was always a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing the change on how the machines were back then and how they used to drop. Remember, they had to put the quarters in.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then that's when I started quarters, nickels, dimes, and now it's just tickets and dollars.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, ticket in, ticket out
Yeah.
with the kind of thing that they mentioned and stuff. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I know that some memories happen. You guys come out. I think the Winnebago tribal people, they get what they call like gaga money, choco money and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so appreciate that. But what does it mean to you personally? Like, has Vegas impacted your life? I know it provided your work or paycheck at one time and stuff, but 33 years, that
Yeah.
is awesome.
So I was here. I started in 1999, and here in the early 2000s. And for me, it was a job, and I got a lot of work experience here. And a lot of the people that I hired, they also got a lot of work experience. So it was providing for our families. The tribe was so good, they even gave us a shuttle so that we were able to make it to work all the time. And so I think that they paid for that shuttle. I mean, we would have to pay the daily fee for that, but it was just so awesome that, the tribe was looking out for the employees then, the same way that they are now. And I would just say it gave me a lot of work experience, and I'm still in the same field, the gaming field, and I just really appreciate all of the things that happen within our community that Winnevegas has provided. And, just kind of going along the line, when we first opened, we did very, very well. And so that can sort of turned into our economic development arm, HCI.
Yeah.
And so that the company there, which is very successful, started with the funds from Winnavegas.
Right. Yeah, we were kind of making mention. I know Brian was talking about that. I want to talk about entertainment. They just had a ABBA concert, I think last Saturday. What was your favorite concert that Vegas offered?
Oh gosh, I would have to say Loretta Lynn.
She was here.
Yes,
Wow.
twice.
Really?
I've seen her here twice. Randy Travis, Luke Bryan. A lot of the country concerts were like my thing. I really enjoyed them, and they would, they would come. Oh, Willie Nelson was here too back in the day.
Really?
Yes, that was
Wow.
awesome. So I was in the restaurant area, and we would be able to get their orders for whatever they wanted to eat, and if they wanted like some type of drinks or water,
Yeah.
alcohol, whatever. And so we would be able to get that all set up for them, and we would be able to meet them.
Oh, wow.
So I got to meet a lot of the entertainers
Really?
that were here. Yes.
So I know the person that met the person.
Yes. And so each year during Christmas, they would do the Toys for Tots, and that was always a big event too.
Yeah.
And oh God, what was his name? Neil McCoy.
Oh, okay.
He would come out and he would do that, and it was just so awesome.
Yeah.
And he would just make a big deal out of the whole thing, and
Wow.
a lot of people draw a lot of people out, and and then do the concert. So it was awesome.
You work in the gaming industry, and the reason for this remote is to tell a little bit about the history and the history of gaming for native tribes. They use a lot of that to benefit programs and like the emergency fund that the Winnebago tribal members have access to. Appropriations that come over from
Yes.
Winnebago over to the tribe, and that is really, really something that we want to emphasize. And in the future, I know that you work in casino industry. What does it look like for the future for Winnevegas, kind of in your area as well?
Oh,
Because you manage the Native Star
Yes, the
on the
Class
other
2
side.
properties.
Yeah, there's Native Star and there's Iron Horse Casino.
I would like to say everything's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
But I guess the pool is getting pretty saturated now with other casinos coming in.
Good point that you mentioned that.
And so our customers are going and they're trying other places, and they might find a favorite and then not come back, or it's tough. And but I think that like with Winnevegas, I see things starting to flourish again. We went through some hard times with the flood and other weather related. I don't want to call it. What would you call it? Other weather related.
Yeah, this Mother Nature.
Yeah, and that's hard. And that, we go through the same thing, weather related. And when the weather's bad, we have tornadoes, we have snowstorms, ice storms, just different things like that. And when those things are happening, people don't come out. And there's nothing that we can really do. Just be there for them when they're ready to go out and try
Yeah.
to entertain them the best that we can.
Yeah. Winnevegas does have a bingo. They started
Yes.
out with one a bingo, and then they do offer some concerts, and even like last Bear Moon Powwow is held out here. A lot of people are like, "Wow, you outgrew the property and stuff," but it's still first time we want to know. I want to say that because Winnevegas used to have that one in September, and I don't know if you were working during that time, but I think they had it for 2 years.
Yeah, I remember the powwow.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what it was called. Maybe just the Winnevegas Powwow or
Yeah.
whatever and stuff. But the last Bear Moon started up 2018, and it's going on. And we took a 2-3 year hiatus because of the pandemic, and
Yes.
then it rebooted, come roaring back last year, and then this year we had another one. Amazing celebrations and stuff.
It is. I wouldn't really consider it outgrowing the property because it's still a draw for us.
Yeah.
It's still to get people to come out. They can have a good time. and they can plan for it, and it's just like a really good time when
Yeah,
they come over.
yeah. A lot of people are. It's getting kind of. They're getting kind of smushed in there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But at the same time, again, we offer a great live stream.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what we want to do.
And it's
But
okay if we're smooshed,
yeah,
We're used to that.
Swish. But Sharon, is there anything that you want to make mention to One Vegas and the Big Voice viewers out there?
I just really want to let the staff know that you guys are doing a great job out here. You can see some of the changes that are happening and a lot of new machines. I don't come out that often like I would like to, but it's just good to see that we're still here, we're still moving forward. And if you want to get something to eat, I know they offer some good things on the weekend. The concerts are, the last one I went to was Ruben Studdard, and that was really a good one. Just come out and check it out. Give us a chance again out here, and I know say hi to your favorite employee or your favorite manager, and just kind of make it a point to just check it out again.
For sure, for sure.
And happy birthday!
Yeah.
33 years is awesome.
Anniversary celebration going on, and yeah, April 30th. Do you remember that day?
I do remember that day.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do remember that day. And
Was the atmosphere? I mean, like, what was it? Was kind of like a rumble over there in Winnebago? I was like, go check it out, or
Yeah, we had talked about coming over to check it out, and they were saying like, "Oh, it's so jam packed over there. You're not going to be able to get in. You're going to have to wait in line." And drove out, and you did have to wait in line, and wait your turn to even just get in the building. And it was jam packed, and it was a good day, and it was a wonderful time for the Winnebago tribe.
Thank you, Sharon. Good words.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming
Thank you
on
for
out and
having
helping
me
us
on.
out. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. So Sharon, Right Eye Red Horn in the house here.
Yes.
Appreciate her. And if you can help us out, get our next guest,
Okay.
Sharon, that would be great. So let's recap here. You have a personal story. I know
Yeah.
everybody wants to hear your story about One Vegas, because I asked, I was like, man, our whole team almost worked at One Vegas and stuff. And even myself, I DJ out here, had an opportunity to DJ for King of the Cage. Then CBS Boxing came out there, and it was really cool. It's kind of like how I got the idea as far as the production headsets and everything, because they would bring that big $1 million satellite truck
Yeah. Okay.
and
Yep.
beam the signal up to wherever it beams up to. Scotty,
Yeah.
beam me up, Scotty. And then after CBS, it was Showtime Boxing on what they called Showbox, the next generation, and it was pretty cool. But share us your story.
Okay. So I actually started out as my first ever job coming out to WinnaVegas, which was probably back in 2013.
Yeah.
And I started out in the bingo hall. And I mean, I don't mind sharing this. I was making like $7.25. And so tips were very important. So it was
Yeah.
important to provide like good service, and we had our regulars, and you build connections with those people, and
Nice.
like whenever you leave, you kind of wonder like, oh, I hope they're doing good, or I wonder
Yeah.
if they went to bingo today, or
Right.
that kind of stuff. But I had built like a family with a lot of my coworkers, and my first ever supervisor was Rochelle. Shout out to Rocky. And then also Bev, both lovely, awesome ladies. And I got to work with my big brother Jimbo. He was our inventory specialist in the bingo hall. And so I just had a good, enjoyable time. First job, learned a lot, and really learned how to interact with, like customers, people in general, and learn like people skills. And it really helped with like gearing me up for like other employment and things like that.
Yeah.
So
That is awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that story,
Yeah.
there, DJ Besame. And I wanted to make mention is that you think about that was your first job.
yeah.
And you started at bingo calling on a PA system. Now you just upgraded, and we have the potential of going 190,000 in Siouxland area. We have 5,000 people on Facebook.
Yep.
YouTube is always climbing, and you definitely have a big voice. So good job. Keep up the good work. I'd like to
Thank
welcome
you.
in our next guest here. This is veteran, also longtime employee of WinnaVegas, Ray Thomas. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for joining us here
bet.
today. What is your role in WinnaVegas?
I am Currently, I'm the director of operations. I've been in that position for over a year now.
Wow.
And when I started 32 and a half years ago, this July I'll be 33.
Wow.
I started as a change person, just as she did.
That is cool.
And I'm kind of worked my way up through different positions.
So let's go back here. You're also a member of the Winnebago tribe.
I am
And you served in what branch?
Navy.
Navy.
Yeah.
And then after you got out of the service, did you come?
No, I didn't. I started driving truck.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of bummed around a little bit and I come to work here in '92. I got out in '89,
Okay.
so I had a few jobs in between there. So
And then you started out as a cashier. Now take us up.
okay, I started out as a change person, selling change on the floor.
Okay.
Then I became a floor person in slots, and I worked that for a few years, and then I became a slot tech, and I started, I started working as a slot tech, and then when we moved over from the trailer house over to here, I become the lead tech.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was the lead tech for a while, and then I become the assistant slot manager,
Yep.
and then the slot manager, and I run slot manager for a while, and then over the years I've stepped in place as the general manager.
Yep.
I've done that twice now, so
Wow.
and I have to thank the tribe and the tribal council for allowing me to grow. I've just as she has. I mean, look what becoming from the bingo.
Yeah.
The floor walker.
The
Yes,
floor walker.
Slash cashier.
Yeah.
Just last week, Ray, we were down there at Warhorse's grand opening
Yep.
for
Yep.
the phase 2 of that.
Yeah.
And we go back here to WinnaVegas. They're celebrating 33 years.
33
The
years.
experience. And
Oh, yeah.
how did you learn to get that experience? Was there a mentor, or was there?
Over the years, I've had a lot of mentors. I had general managers that instilled in me their philosophies on how they deal with people. Tom has been a good help, very good help.
Yeah.
He's mentoring me. And a lot of it I just kind of learned from watching people.
Yeah.
And like I said, interacting with people.
Yeah.
I mean, over the years, I had, I've met a lot of people out here, and some are gone. God bless their souls.
Yeah.
And some are, become really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You come in and it's just like when you walk through the door or walk out on the floor, it's like walking downtown.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you, Joe? How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
That's the kind of atmosphere we have out here. It's kind of a friendly. You always say the friendly casino. But
Yeah.
But we truly live that out here.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's you man, 32 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you, it's going to be a hard question. You might need to think about it and stuff, but do you have some highlights in that 32? Was there a concert that you guys put on, or maybe something, a memorable moment that always kind of stuck with you?
A memorable moment for me would be my first moment would be when we moved to when we got the new facility.
Okay.
That was a monumental move at that time.
So, Bray, can I tell you my story?
Yeah.
We were back in, I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And we heard at the Winnebago Public School that we were going to get the modulars
That.
because we were so bad. I mean, they were taking us out of the school in handcuffs and stuff, But they put the 7th and 8th graders out there in the modulars.
Yes.
And I couldn't imagine that there was a casino in there. I was like, because it was classroom space.
Right.
How did that work? Like, paint a picture. Like, was it?
Well, they had them attached end to end, and we had slot machines on the walls.
Okay.
In the middle.
How many slot machines would you guesstimate?
We had 240 in that facility.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Did you guys have tables in there?
we had tables, yeah.
Wow, like
Yeah.
craps and black.
Craps. We had a craps table. We had blackjack tables. We didn't have a roulette table.
Okay.
And then we had the cage was at the, I remember the cage was at the end of the tables.
Okay.
And I do remember pushing, at the time it was coins.
Yeah.
And we had to drop the machines and we loaded these carts up. Well, as we're pushing them to the cage, we literally fell through the floor.
Oh my
Because there was
goodness.
so much weight on there. So,
What was that? Could you imagine?
Fall. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
so we, there was a lot of challenges, I guess.
So I didn't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
but that moment when you changed over from that facility, modulars,
Yes.
to in here, what was that like for you?
It was actually, I was nervous because now we're in a bigger facility. What do we do?
Yeah.
We all had to learn a little different style of customer service. It wasn't the close net anymore. Now we're in a big facility,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as hard as I thought. But it was great that I felt honored, and I felt like we're really going someplace now.
Yeah. That is
and-
awesome.
Yeah. So, and I've been through every expansion here at the casino, the hotel, changing this from the bingo hall to a slot floor, putting the new bingo hall in,
Yeah.
renovating the buffet back there. All these events in my lifetime here, my tenure being here, are cherished moments for me.
Right.
And
That's what it's about, right?
it is. And my biggest honor that I feel that working here is the changes that's happened in Winnebago.
Right.
And I remember, when I was a kid, we didn't have very much.
Right.
There wasn't a lot, because I grew up on the, in Winnebago. And to see it today from when it was then, that's that's a good
Yeah.
thing. So
For sure. Man, you just
every
brought
time I
goosebumps mentioning
every
that.
time I talk about it, like I said, I get goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I go down to Winnebago, I get, I feel that honor.
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, I had something to do with this.
Yeah.
So
Man, Ray, we appreciate your words.
You bet.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing, reminiscing with us. 33rd anniversary here at
Yes.
WinnaVegas Casino. And Ray, we appreciate you're still serving.
Yeah.
I know you're a veteran and everything too. You help us out with Last Bear Moon.
Yep.
And then everything that you do as far as the homecoming celebration. Serving as the interim GM too is very
Thank you.
important. Making
Thank
sure
you.
that this operations comes
Yeah.
full circle and everything too. So Ray Thomas
Yeah.
from WinnaVegas, Director of Operations. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. And I'd like to say, come out.
Yeah.
Visit with us.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
all righty.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it,
Awesome.
folks. Yeah, if you have an opportunity, maybe stop out and say a good hello to Tom and Ray, and I know Keats is in the house, and we have other people that are longtime employees.
Yeah.
So if you start working here, it seems like you can work yourself up.
Yes.
And then
There's
you know,
room
you
for
just-
growth.
Yes, certainly. We're going to get into our next guest here. Appreciate this gentleman. I know that we've been working with him and trying to get some information out there. We're talking about careers and how you started. Go ahead and give us an introduction, man.
All right. My name is Christian Rogers, and I'm the Director of Human Resources for WinnaVegas Casino Resort. This is such an exciting time, isn't it? Celebrating
Yes.
our 33rd year.
How long you
can't
been working
believe
here?
it. So I'm not so much of a veteran like a lot of people here, but it's hard to imagine that in September I'm going to have celebrated my 5th year
Wow.
with WinnaVegas.
That is awesome. That's a milestone.
time flies by when you're having fun,
Mm-hmm.
especially where it's just more fun at WinnaVegas, right?
Yes, yes.
I like that. He incorporates what is it? The slope, the motto.
It is that WinnaVegas, where it's just more fun, and we have incredible marketing ambassadors that celebrate our property every day during our promotions, and we're known as the friendly casino. And I got to tell you, I've been in the gaming industry for over 20 years,
Oh wow.
and this place is so special. I come from the Oklahoma market, and I've had the opportunity to serve different tribes, and the Winnebago tribe in Nebraska is holds such a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Because it's the people. And when I first started, I could not believe the tenure of individuals that have worked here. It was incredible to me sitting in front of a screen and seeing it's not uncommon for somebody to be here for 25 years.
Wow.
So I knew from day one, this tribe has got something right going.
Yes.
And celebrating their associate ourselves on is when you come and work for WinnaVegas Casino Resort, you're not just a number. People know your name. They want to know your story. And we're like a family. It's amazing being a part of a leadership team where there has been so many individuals here that have been here for so long to share their war stories and being able to sit with people like Ray Thomas, who was a guest right before me, all the tenure that he's had and the experiences, and it's pretty amazing.
That is cool. So, you work in human resources,
I do.
HR. Tell us about, like, if we have somebody out there that's viewing us, or maybe somebody is thinking about getting into the entertainment casino industry, what do they have to do?
You know what? The only thing they have to do is show up. Show up to our human resources office. We're open Monday through Friday, and we can have you fill out an application. We have a pretty relaxed interview process. We can give you all the open positions because we have different positions open from different departments. But the biggest thing that we do is when we sit with the applicant, I kind of talked about how you're not just a number. We sit with them and we get to know them, because one of the biggest things that I think employers make the mistake of is job placement. And they hire individuals and they put them in certain positions where sometimes they set them up to fail. And we don't do that at WinnaVegas. We like to sit down and actually talk to people and say, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
What a part of the entertainment industry do you want to be a part of?
Cool.
Because it's just like in working in hospitality, we talk about, putting the Disneyland faces on, and coming to work every day and working for a casino. It's so different compared to any other industry.
Yeah.
Because no day is the same day.
Right, right. You never know who you're going to meet.
Ever.
Right.
And how many jobs can you walk into to say, boy, I got to see somebody's face whenever they won a $10,000 jackpot. Or we just gave a car away. And to see the reactions of our guests, it's really powerful.
That is cool.
So-
Thanks for sharing that story. I have a question. What are some of the jobs that are open right now?
Sure. We have positions open from our environmental services department. We have facilities. We have leadership positions open in our facilities area. We have guest service, cashiers, you name it. We have it open, and we can definitely, anybody that's watching, come on down, and we'll make sure to put you in the right job.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. And I thought like there was certain perks and stuff. I think that, employee appreciation, is there like a sign-on bonus and stuff? Maybe.
Absolutely. There's a sign-on bonus when you start, $1,000 sign-on bonus. And when an individual starts with an organization, we talk about us being a family and feeling like, you're home away from home.
Right.
And one thing that we do is we celebrate our associates twice a year. We have these huge on the monthly, we celebrate our tenured associates for their length of service. Depending on their length of service, they get either cash or a gift card. And then when it comes down to Christmas and like June 30th, I'm getting ready to put a committee together to have a summer bash, to where last summer we had set out on the South Lawn over here. We had, badminton, we had music, and most importantly, we had food. And we just sat around all day just celebrating each other and the accomplishments that we we do here at WinnaVegas, because every day is such an exciting experience.
That's cool. Well, Christian, we appreciate you. Thank you for being on today and give us that information.
Absolutely. Anytime,
Congratulations
guys.
for
Thank
helping
you.
out.
Thank
33
you.
years, WinnaVegas Casino
Thank you.
anniversary. So that was Christian Rogers. I know that he sends
Yes.
some information. I think there's some recruiters out there, things like that. But wow, that is crazy. So I wanted to ask you, what's the secret to winning a jackpot? No.
Oh man, shoot. When you find out, guaranteed, you let me know.
Hey, a public service announcement for everybody out there. Just make sure you bet within your means.
And if you didn't
don't-
know, you can ban yourself from a casino.
Yeah, we did not. That's today's Did You Know section, right?
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So I know that I believe we have one more guest. And if we have an opportunity, she's making her way up here. Kevin, maybe you can get that shot, Kevin, if Keats walking up. And she was there 33 years ago. She told it. And if you have an opportunity into that, what do they call it? There she is. And she does a lot of good work. I know she's talking to Sandy. Want to send a shout out to Sandy. She works with Sharon and the crew there. And this first Winnebago Tribe in Nebraska.
You know what? I really thought that was awesome when Ray was mentioning how much like growth and economic development that's happened in Winnebago. Because every time, like when I used to help out with the Win a lot, and we would look through like some of our archive photos, it really.
We lost our guest.
I know. I was like, came back to it. I was trying to multitask, but seeing the difference between like just Main Street in Winnebago
Yeah.
to like how it looks like present day today.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, and I'm really glad to be a part of the Winnebago tribe.
I'll give one to you. We're kind of reminiscing today. Mary Mart, do you remember that? You might have
I
been.
seen pictures of it. I don't remember it.
Then there's Sweet Lodge.
Oh yeah, Sweet Lodge was my heyday.
Was it? Your prime? Hey, folks. Kevin, we appreciate you, man. Let's go back to Kevin here. Let's get us some shots if he has the opportunity. Did you queue up the Kansu Cafe people? No? They don't want to be on the stream, huh? But there's Kevin. Let's get a good... Yeah, he's saying hello to the good folks.
You gotta
and
come
stuff.
over a little bit more.
But nonetheless here... yeah, why don't we do that? Oh, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And so I know they feature some great amenities, different amenities, including, and if we have an opportunity, try. I see some advertisings and things like that. It says Saturday Prime, and that must mean prime rib, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. Because there's a prime rib picture right underneath it.
For sure, for sure. So let's try to go to Kevin, see what he got queued up here.
All right, Kevin's up.
Kevin, and yeah, Kevin, you're up here. Know the great associates back there always greet you with a friendly smile. They have a menu displayed on there, and it's pretty affordable. You know, one of the things that they want to make mention is that we have an opportunity. Oh, okay. So there's the for those that are online here celebrating at WinnaVegas 33 years, and I'm getting pretty hungry.
All right, we are back online.
Just in time here. We'd like to enjoy and welcome in our next guest. I think a lot of people in Winnebago know who you are, but say good. Give us what is your title here?
Well, my name is Kelly Snow, and most people in Winnebago know me as Keats, and I am the table games manager.
Welcome, welcome. Table games manager, and we were reminiscing. 33 years ago, this place opened. You were there.
I was, yeah.
Tell
I
us
was.
about it.
I was. I worked on the craps table, and it was a very hot day. It was in the afternoon. I believe we opened at 2 o'clock, and there was a line of people. There was a line of cars, all the way down. It was literally dirt road, all the way down. And once they opened the doors, and it was nonstop.
Wow.
And so we worked for 4 hours, and then swing shift came in. We were, I think, probably that first, at least month, we were packed all the time. It was incredible. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Ray
Lot
was
of fun.
mentioning it. Sharon was mentioning. Brian. Everybody was mentioning. Winnevegas provided a lot of seeds to the Winnebago tribe, and a lot of those seeds are flourishing and stuff. But what does this mean to you to celebrate 33 years as a tribal member, as a person that works over here?
I just really appreciate all the opportunities given to our tribal members. Being able to always have a job is really important, especially to Winnebago. Whether you're 18 years old out of high school, I have tribal members that have jobs, but they help us out part-time just to make a few extra dollars, for their families. And to me, that's really important. And I always tell my coworkers, when I ask you who you work for, don't say, "Oh, I work for Kelly," or "Oh, I work for WinnaVegas." No, you work for your children. You work for your spouse. And because you want nice things for your family. And that's what WinnaVegas is. We're here for the community, but especially we're here for our tribal members so that they can always have income, and especially now in these trying times. If people are working in farming or what have you, it's important that they always know that we're here for them, that we always have a position open for them.
Very well said. Very well said. We've been asking our guests here that come up, Tom, Ray, everything. Do you have a favorite moment? I know that you took a break, and we appreciate that storyteller section in the Winnebago in the News. If you have an opportunity, make sure you check that out. But was there a favorite moment in your tenure here?
I remember we had a concert. It was one of our first concerts, and it was an outdoor concert. It was on the north side of the building, and we had it set up, and it was B.J. Thomas, and it was really something. Who would have thought that having a concert like that in the middle of a cornfield, and it was just packed. It was just packed. And I remember that one of our finance managers, Agnes Blackhawk, and her and one of the other managers, when BJ was singing one of his faster songs, and they were dancing, like professional dancing. And
Yeah.
oh, God, it was just so cool to see. And,
Took like a mental snapshot.
yeah, I'm like, oh, my God, they just looked so cool. And it was just... I just remember that first concert. It was pretty cool, and I think it contributed a lot to Siouxland, seeing what the concerts we were bringing to the area in the middle of a cornfield. I think it kind of made Sioux City see that, they could have bigger venues, and look at what they did with the Orpheum shortly after, and I think we kind of contributed to that. They're like, have you seen some of the acts when Vegas says we can do the same thing?
Right.
And they are now. Orpheum's killing it.
Yes, yes. So you guys are kind of like industry standard. You set the bar. That's what WinnaVegas is all about. So we appreciate you coming in,
Yep.
Keats. I know that you're middle of your shift and working hard. Is there new amenities as far as your table games department that maybe want to inform the people if they haven't come out to WinnaVegas to try out?
Oh yeah, we started something new a couple months ago. Well, it's not new, but we brought back live action poker. We have a live game on Friday and Saturday nights from 6 to about 2. We also on these are our summer numbers, but our summer hours is we're open till 4 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights, just to extend that play a little bit instead of going home. People can stay and play.
Yeah.
So that will probably last until maybe July, and then once school starts back up, we'll cut them back to 2 a.m. So just trying to keep things fresh and moving in a direction
Right, right.
that keeps our players coming back.
One of the things I want to send a thank you to is that a lot of casinos are going like automated, or it's like a machine if you want to play blackjack. I really appreciate your associates that work out there because they all have a personality. And when you walk up, they're all smiles. It seems like they're excited to talk to you, excited to deal for you. I know like Leo, he's a poker dealer and he helps out, does a great job. John, I mean, just all your table games dealers, your pit crew, and they come to work. They're not mopey. They're not crabby, anything like that. So that's probably a testament to your leadership, and appreciate, everything that you do for that. So I just want to make mention that. That's kind of my review of WinnaVegas's pit crew and stuff, that they have here for their table games department. But Keats, good words. That's what we wanted to get
Thank
to
you.
is making sure that you point out that you will always have a job for Winnebago tribal members here. And not only that, but anybody that's native or anybody that wants to get in the hospitality or entertainment industry, come on out here to WinnaVegas, apply. And we talked to Christian about that. So anything else that you want to make mention?
Well, I invited one of my good longtime coworkers and good friend and Jeff Pope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted him to share some stories. He started here in '94, and I told him I encouraged him to come on up and just kind of tell you where he started. and
Okay.
Where he's at now.
Yeah, let's bring him on and go ahead and pass the microphone. Thanks, Keats.
Awesome.
Yes, we're going to try not to lose signal. I think it was when we kind of,
Stepping back.
Man, we're going to have to go get this thing looked at or something,
Yeah.
But I'd like to welcome in our next guest here, Jeff Pope.
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Man,
Hello.
I remember when I was a kid growing up
Yeah.
and in Winnebago, you would sing around the drum and everything, and that was awesome. Hard River,
Yeah.
that was a drum group that we used to go around, and then the Winnebago Singers. And remember, we used to sit down at the fire hall, and never in my life that I would think, like in my tenure, that I would be here on a radio station talking to you about what really provided for us, as Big Voice Radio. WinnaVegas sends over appropriations, and we're
Yes.
allowed to do this stuff.
That's good.
So, give us your introduction and what do you do here at WinnaVegas?
Well, Jeff Pope, and what do I do here at WinnaVegas? I am in security maintenance
Okay.
right currently.
And you started when?
Originally, I started in 1994.
94.
I originally started in 94. Worked for 3 years, February of 94, February 1st of 94. Worked 3 years, and then, of course, I was hired as people might know if they were coming out here at that time. We sold change.
Okay.
It was tokens
Okay.
because you couldn't actually use money. The only one that they didn't have tokens for was for the nickels. So, we had quarter tokens and you had dollar tokens. And so I did that for 3 months, going on to 4 months. Actually, it was 4 months. And then I went into security. So then I did security for the remainder of it. And then I got called back up to go back into teaching. And so I went back over and did 10 years in teaching again. And then I left and I came back here in '09. So I haven't been here totally for the 31 and a half years. But yeah, when I talk about the stuff that used to be, and then people go, what are you talking about? That's
Yeah.
not how it was when you came in '09. Well, I'm talking about in the 90s. And so, but yeah, a lot of changes here. And
Wow.
So, and then when I went out of uniform in 13, I got out of uniform August of 13, and then in my current position, officially it says assistant tech, but it's security maintenance.
Yeah, that's
And so-
awesome. Thank you for everything that you do. We wanted to touch base on. You have some favorite memories?
Well, yeah. Some of the favorite memories are just the people themselves.
Yeah.
When I left the first time, and I mean, I don't sound terrible because it's a business, but you find yourself, you're not really missing the business, you miss the people that you meet.
Nice.
And that's really how it is. And back then, it was really kind of crazy because you don't meet the people like you do now. Because you didn't have time to sit there and visit with them, especially from a security standpoint. We kind of really super busy. It took probably a half hour after you got home at night just to unwind.
Right.
And we still had the old ding, ding, ding bells.
Yeah, yeah.
My
I would imagine those are still.
you half an hour after you were home, you were still hearing those
Right.
in your head. And things were a little different here. To be honest about it, one of the employees had here a couple months ago, she was reminiscing and she was saying how it used to be like, kind of like, not to coin a phrase, but like the old West in here. And she says, I used to watch security put somebody down on the floor once a day.
Wow.
And it was. I mean, it was kind of carried away, but,
Yeah.
that was on them people's perspective of what they did.
Yeah.
Not that that's a good memory. I don't mean it like that. I just mean, but what I'm getting at is the people that would come up and say, hey, are you okay? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. And you just get to visit with different ones, and you really
Right.
miss that kind of situation. I think now, things have really calmed down. I mean, as far as that, we don't have that kind of atmosphere right now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm
It
30
changes
years
the
older.
climate. We were
Yeah.
kind of making mention with Keats and even Tom. There's what's in the future for WinnaVegas as we kind of reminisce of the 33 years in the entertainment industry and stuff. And Jeff, you had a big part of that. We appreciate you being on and
no
kind of
problem.
sharing some of your experiences and stuff. I think that we made mention Besame. She started young lad out here.
Young lass.
Yeah, young lass and stuff. And then she made her way. She was up there at the bingo calling the numbers, and making people happy. But at the same time, you're probably making one person happy, and then the rest of the bingo field
Yeah.
just went,
Clicking hands.
Yeah.
Banging the numbers on the table.
Was you nervous?
I was like, oh my gosh, I remember the first time that I did call because they kept all talking me into it. Shout out to Vanessa Leroux. She was like our #1 caller all the time. And
Yeah.
they're like, I don't remember why, but they were like, no, Bethany needs to train her. So she did. And I just remember like my voice was really shaky. It's like that first episode of ARL. And it's just like, hey guys.
Yeah. It's nerve wracking. And then the thing about it too, I noticed is because my old lady plays, she plays bingo. Professional, not by any means, but when they call the wrong number, oh my goodness, everybody hits
Yeah.
the table and they go.
Or if it's a game that don't have ends and the ends
Right.
up there and you don't grab it fast
They're
enough.
like,
Yeah.
no ends. And then
Yeah.
I was sitting there one time and somebody's phone rang and there was an old Gaga or something like that. Turn your phone off. I was like, jeez, man.
Yeah, you gotta walk a thin line in there.
Well, now you talk about the bingo people. When I came back in '09, we had that big blizzard at Christmas time. And
Oh.
of course, that phone never stopped ringing. We already evacuated the casino.
Oh,
And we had people call and say, well, you're still having bingo tonight, right?
Oh my goodness, I
No,
believe it.
we're not. And
Yeah.
they said, bingo never shuts down.
oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like,
They stand by it. Yeah.
They stand by it. Really.
You ever see those memes where we still can make it and it's
Yeah.
like 8 foot snow? We still can make it to bingo, they say. That's crazy. Yeah, safety, security, part of that Bear Clan mentality and stuff, man. We appreciate you, Jeff. Anything that you want to make mention out to the good folks out there?
Well, we've had a lot of good people out here that have worked, and we appreciate your business. You know, I mean, we've had, gee, you know, again, around Siouxland area, it'd be amazing how many people. I said it one day, how many people could probably write down and say, I once worked at WinnaVegas? I bet it'd be over 40, 50,000 people at one time.
Wow.
I bet it would be because back in the day, we had 750 people, employees.
Wow.
You know, that was 250 per shift on the average. You know, now, you know, we're down a little bit, but it's always the people that come and keep coming.
Yeah.
You know, I remember it's one of those things too. Back in the early days, we were told that if we can get 5 years out of this casino, we'd be happy. Because we just don't know about the gaming industry and what it's going to do.
Interesting.
And like you said, here it is 33 years later, and we're still going, and we're still being productive. And we've gone through our, you know, trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's always the people
Right.
that come back.
Yeah.
And so we have to admire that and respect them and say thank you to them.
For sure.
Because that's what it is.
Good words, man.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for helping us out
Thank you,
today.
thank you.
Jeff Pope.
Yes.
All right. Best of me. Let's wrap it up. I hear a machine calling my name. No,
I
I'm just like,
know.
we can't do that.
My stomach is going to start growling. Shout out
Well,
to
we
Tom
can.
Teasdale.
Yeah, we can go on over to the Consul Cafe and
Yes.
grab something to eat, which we'll
Yep.
do. And we appreciate everybody working with us here today. We had some ins and outs of our stream. It was our computer issue. Just to kind of let you know, we're going to get that diagnosed. We're going to put it into the mechanic shop, and hopefully it comes out on the other end well streamed here. So
Yes.
appreciate your help, Best of Me. Kevin, appreciate
Shout out to Eebs.
MCBKC Communications Department,
Yes.
Big Voice Radio, the Winnebago into News, and our guests. You know, we had the GM. That was really cool, and he had some good words to share and stuff. You know, so very, very historical day for the Winnebago tribe, for WinnaVegas. 33 years and going strong. Going strong with the climate of all the casino industry, the saturation, the floods, you know, this, what do they call it? You know, downturn and inflation, whatever it may be. These guys still find a way to make sure that they benefit the Winnebago tribe by sponsoring those youth programs, veterans programs. Means a lot and stuff. So as a young person from Winnebago, Nebraska, what does WinnaVegas mean to you?
Oh, it gave me so much opportunity to kind of shape me into who I am today. Because, like I said, it was my first job, and I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew that I needed to provide, and it really helped me get a good start on, you know, my adult life. So,
Very good.
love it.
Good words. All right, folks, make sure you join us every Tuesday. We got some events coming up,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yep.
What do we got?
So we do have, I'll make mention, we have the sports show this evening at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Tomorrow we have the grand opening ceremony with Little Priest Tribal College.
Yep.
And so if you wanted to peep that, you could go to our YouTube and our Facebook, and you could check out the interview that we had with President Manoj.
Yep.
And so they have the other event on Friday as well.
Yeah. 2-day event.
Yes.
But you have,
Oh, yeah. And then I have All Request Live.
what is All Request Live?
So tomorrow we'll be live on the radio. We do a radio-only broadcast, so it's audio only. We'll do song requests. You could dedicate a song to somebody. We have some birthday shout-outs that we get into. And then we also have our top 5 countdown. So if you haven't voted yet, you still have time to vote. Creedence Clearwater Revival has been holding it down for going on 6 weeks.
Depressed guys out there. No, I'm just playing. I'm just mad. I'm salty because I didn't submit it. We do like a in office, and you ask everybody from the office to submit for that top 5.
Yes.
So just so you know, vote for number. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say. But
We have a text line, we have the email, and so you can reach out to us on the Facebook, Winnebago, the Dash Big Voice.
all right, and it's fun. And it's really cool because you have an opportunity if you.
And how could I forget, before you say that, we have a spotlight that we get into before the top 5, and I have a special guest that's going to be joining me tomorrow in the studio for like one of my first ever in-person interview. So I'm excited for
cool.
that.
Yeah.
And so it's for our Indigenous Artist Spotlight, which kicks off before the top 5 countdown.
Very
so
nice.
11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah, if you want to send a shout out, dedication, and a song request, hit up DJ Best singing.
Yes.
It's very cool, very cool. All right, guys, you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday for Winnebago Talks, Res Ride, All Requests Live, Winnebago
Yes.
Big Voice Sports Show, and Friday with Friday Night Hot Mix and Midnight Love.
Yep.
All right. Good day. Happy anniversary. Winnebago Casino Resort, 33 years and going strong.